This week on News Time, it's finally Chad's turn to talk about his favorite shows and movies of the year. No one was asking for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. From One Day at a Time to Lady Bird, I'm counting down the best new comedy things of the year. The key word here is new, but I'll be sure to give old favorites their due. And trust me, I have my pulse on the comedy world, so I know what's good and what's lesser than good. And look, right here. Here's the comedy pulse. One, two. Is it bad to have 2 comedy beats per minute? Am I going to die? I better hurry up and shoot this then. Speaking of death, 2017 will be dead and gone, and so too will you two. Yay! News time!
It's C+ News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
One list, 2 lists, red list, blue list, said Dr. Seuss complaining to his 20-year-old senior editor while he's writing for BuzzFeed. Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the comedy news that you didn't know about for the week of December 18th, 2017. Special edition, the +5 edition. Let's pretend this is not being shot in bulk with 2 other news times, and I'm not missing out on huge stories that I want to cover, like the good, the bad, and the worst that's coming out of the Disney-Fox deal, or how the deal affects streaming site Hulu, or how the deal affects job loss, which is all true, or how I'm not holding on to a few stories until it's time for them to get made. I'm not kicking myself for either of those. No, the day this episode goes up, it's Christmas, which happens to be my favorite time of the year. Not because of the cheer of the family. I hate that stuff. It's the one time of year Trader Joe's has Jingle Jangle. That stuff is like hardcore drugs that's seriously affecting certain communities around the States. It's neither here nor there because it got me some of those chocolatey goodness that is the jangle. This week, my gift to you is my hot picks of the year. What follows next are the top tier comedy wrecks I've had the pleasure of experiencing firsthand. When I watched or listened to these, a feeling of joy overcame my short-fused anger. And I want you to feel the same way. Not the angry part. Here are my +5 2017 comedy recommendations. And it's +5 because the list is supposed to be exactly 5 points long, but then I realized I hate lists, so I added anything I loved and, whatever. Let's get right to it. Comedy TV was excellent this year. While some were focused on more political topics, many were smart to remain in their own worlds. Character development, story building, and plain old jokes were the cornerstone of these shows. While old favorites tended to be reliably good, each one of these new shows I'm about to name certainly made an impact on my viewings. First up is the Showtime series Smilf from Frankie Shaw. The show comes from the short film of the same name that follows Shaw's single mother character struggling to make ends meet while simultaneously trying to achieve her dreams of becoming an actress or a WNBA basketball player. The show is sweet in its depiction of what it means to be a single parent while also managing to take liberties with the regular sitcom structure. At least 2 episodes during its first season played with killing characters or telling non-sequitur short stories. Shaw and her team made Boston a good town to shoot in, and it comes across in each episode. Simply put, I love Smilf. Season 2 should be just as good. Sticking with premium cable, HBO's Crashing instantly became one of my favorites. Yes, I'm already a huge Pete Holmes and Judd Apatow fan, but the two made the trope-laden topic of comedian-led biographical sitcom watchable again. Not only is the subject matter something we've seen done on other shows, but the story is being retold for the umpteenth time for regular fans of the comic. Holmes' sweet demeanor in the first season is in contrast to his real-life dopey nature now. Apatow's production notes work well in the world, and the comedian cameos are admirable. HBO Apatow and Holmes stuck the landing with this one. Dropping it down a tier, Comedy Central's Detroiters was as much a surprise as Smilf was. Created by and starring Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson, Detroiters manages to unironically do with Detroit what Sex and the City did with New York. I'm not kidding when I say those two made the city the character because this show is chock full of it. Whether the two guys are dealing with their annoying security guard who's trying to pitch them ideas or their over-sexualized elderly secretary commentary, Detroiters always displays talent in more ways than one. Writing is off the wall as stories and characters are able to be reasonably cartoony in the world because it allows for it. I cannot describe the jokes. They're so good. Oh, a description. There you go. The last show I want to give a spotlight to is Netflix's One Day at a Time. Let me get this over with. The show is single-handedly my favorite show of the year. I'm not one who seeks out to watch every episode of a streaming series on week one, nor am I the type of person to watch a show almost immediately. But that fateful night in January, I had to really hold off on watching more than I wanted. One Day at a Time is hands down the most charming, engaging, and thought-provoking show of the past year, and I cannot believe no one is talking about it. Norman Lear, Gloria Calderon-Kellett, and Mike Royce took the old version of the show and put a sheen on it that every other remake in any new show around should dare to dream of. And it's a freaking true-to-life multicam. No gimmicks, no sets outside of a living room and bedrooms, no trips to Disneyland or outer space, no hackneyed attempts at hitting your heartstrings. One Day at a Time is a sincere, lovely show that gets no recognition. Please, give this one a watch. Other shows I enjoyed this year, too, include the too-soon-canceled ABC show Downward Dog. It may have been too high concept, but it was high concept enough for me to love, whatever that means. Brock Meyer and The Mayor were good to put its leads in unfamiliar situations. Ghosted is a weird and entertaining nod to 80s movies. Great News is Tracy Wigfield's exceptional take on the Tina Fey Robert Carlock formula. And Big Mouth made all the comedy voices I love to hear on podcasts into cartoons, only dirtier. Moving on to the big screen, there weren't many standout comedies, but when they were good, they were good. The two I want to talk about are The Big Sick and Girls Trip. Since the fine folks at the Golden Globes thought it best not to nominate either of these two movies in any regards, I want to award these two with my top honors. Each one was attempting to do something different, but in the end, both made audiences laugh even harder. Starting with The Big Sick, Kumail Nanjiani and his equally funny writing partner / wife, Emily V. Gordon, took the same story fans have been hearing for years and put it on the big screen. Much like Pete Holmes' Crashing, the tale is retreading waters journeyed while also making it accessible and heartening. Get this thing some awards, you jerks! For Girls Trip, it governed itself exceptionally. It took the storied girls' night and made it 10 times better. The cast did such a great job, even if they had to deal with a few hiccups in storytelling. But jokes hit more often than not, and it gave Tiffany Haddish a stage on which to perform. Kenya Barris and Tracy Oliver's scripting and Malcolm D. Lee's directing made this movie one of the best of the year. Other silver screen staples include Lady Bird. Greta Gerwig's writing and directing helped propel Saoirse Ronan to new heights. Then there's The House with Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler doing straight jokes for 80 minutes. The story could have been a little more fleshed out, but sometimes, as Harris Whittles once said, motherfuckers want to laugh. The same can be said about Paul W. Downs and Lucia Aniello's first movie, Rough Night. The Broad City duo's freshman film may not have been well received, but like The House, it was a good vehicle for jokes. And finally, the Lego Batman and Captain Underpants movies were so gorgeous and plain funny. And now for something new. Making Plus 5 and the choices above was hard. It was difficult to cut down the shows, movies, and even podcasts I love because I don't want to spend too much time editing this dumb video. This next segment I call Grab Bag, and I'm going to draw 5 names from this hat. Whatever I grab is what I'm going to talk about. Again, I don't know what's going to come out of this hat. Anything I say will be off the cuff. Future Chad, go ahead and throw 1 minute on the board. Is it up there? I hope so. Ready, set, go. Speechless. I love Speechless so much. It's a wonderful show. It's about a kid with cerebral palsy, but they're not making it tug at your heartstrings and make it be worthless because it's not it's not trying to be one. It's not trying to be Mask. It's trying to be something better than Mask. It's very funny. John Ross Bowie and Minnie Driver and Cedric Yarbrough and there's a cast of kids. Very funny. I love it so much. Let's see. I'm not going to look at all. This is so dumb. The Middle. Oh my gosh, another ABC show. It's ending its series at the end of this television season, the 2018 television season. It's so good. It's so wonderful. It's just about a poor Midwestern family who's just trying to make it and do all the things that they can with their life, but sometimes it doesn't work out. But in the end, they still have their family. Let's see. I can't look. This is so dumb. Let's see. Difficult People, canceled by Hulu too soon. I understand Julia Klausner and Billy Eichner are very busy people, especially Billy Eichner, but Hulu didn't need to cancel the show. They don't have any comedies, and now they're more owned by Disney at this point in time. They need more comedies. How many comedies do they have? This is why they shouldn't have canceled CISO. I'm talking about NBC there. I need two more. All right, two more. Not gonna look. This is another ABC show. I can't do another ABC show. I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay, 5 seconds. The Carmichael Show, again canceled by NBC. Carmichael Show is one of the best multicams in the world, and it's too bad NBC didn't have the balls to keep it running. Why would you do that? Why would you cancel one of your best comedies in the world? Okay, of course, I hope I get a podcast. I know I won't, but Red Oaks. Red Oaks ended this year on Amazon. It's a coming of age story about kids in the 80s. It's so wonderful, and I love it so much. And Paul Reiser's in it, and it's just so good. It's so funny. Oh, I'm sorry to the other shows and movies that I couldn't talk about. Here they are. Give them a look because there's a reason they're on that list. Go on. Do it now. You can even pause the video if you'd like. I'm giving you ample choice. Got it? Okay, good. That is it. That's everything I have for you for this year on C Plus News Time. I did C Plus News Time again. Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can always head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where there's so much that we stopped calling it C Plus News Time. There you go. You can follow us on Twitter at C Plus Comedy. Follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast. And be sure to have a happy new year. And also set some priorities aside because you know what? You got more priorities. Okay, bye.